Yeah.
Let me explain something. Y'all,
Yeah.
if y'all watch my page, I had a breakdown from that camp.
Yeah.
And me and Tank haven't seen each other since camp. When I left, everybody thought I was mad. No, I wasn't mad. I was just, just it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was going through court at the same time.
Yes, I was going to say something like, yeah.
I was going through court.
Yes.
And he won, I won.
That's right.
So,
Alhamdulillah.
The boxing world has been buzzing with questions surrounding Gervonta "Tank" Davis, his longtime trainer Calvin Ford, and the future direction of his career. For years, Calvin Ford was viewed as much more than just a coach in Davis's corner. Their relationship was built over a long period of time, dating back to Davis's early days as a young fighter, and together they experienced the highs and lows that come with building an elite boxing career. That is why recent reports and discussions about Davis potentially...
It's been a journey with him. You might don't know that I have a relationship with him when he was a kid and whatnot. He could go any coach in the world that he wanted to go to, but he chose to come with us. And
actually working with different trainers have created so much conversation among fans and analysts. According to Calvin Ford's own comments, the situation may be far more complicated than a simple argument between a fighter and his coach. Ford has suggested that when he stepped away from the situation, he was not necessarily angry or looking for revenge. Instead, he was dealing with a combination of personal circumstances, legal issues.
Obviously some rumors circulating that Tank working with José Benavidez.
Yeah, I heard it, I'm not sure if it's true, but if it is, then he's a grown man, got a right to do what he wants, Whatever he decides to do, I told you before, I support him. No love lost. Been knowing him since he was 7. Great guy, man.
And the emotional reality of realizing that a chapter in his relationship with Davis may have reached a natural turning point. Ford's comments also made it clear that his connection with Tank goes much deeper than boxing. He has known Davis since he was a child, watched him develop his skills, and helped guide him through the difficult journey toward becoming one of the biggest stars in the sport. That history is extreme.
It's not all on Coach Calvin, and it's not all on Coach Kenny, and it's not all on Gervonta Davis. I have been paying attention to that camp for a while. I know people in that camp. I know people around that camp. And I can tell you without a doubt that the major issue with Gervonta Davis and that particular camp was the fact that there's so many paid snitches. It is
extremely important because it explains why the current situation has generated so much emotion. When a fighter changes trainers after a few years, it is normal in boxing. But when the relationship involves a coach who has been there since the fighter was young, the story becomes much more personal. Kenny Ellis has also addressed the speculation surrounding Davis's training situation, taking a much more relaxed position. Rather than criticizing Tank or questioning his decisions.
And this was a couple years ago. I remember when Gervonta started getting upset with it, and he started blocking people and getting mad about stuff, and he started telling Kenny and Calvin, that basically not to be announcing things, not to say things about who he's going to fight next or what he's going to do next, because Gervonta started getting irritated about that. I also know that Calvin Ford stopped talking to the media for a long period of time. Kenny Ellis stopped talking to the media about Gervonta in that way because they were appeasing Gervonta and Gervonta's desire to have that information kept in.
Ellis emphasized that Davis is a grown man who has the right to decide how he wants to prepare for the next stage of his career. Rumors have circulated about Davis working with José Benavidez Sr., and although the exact details of the arrangement have remained unclear, Ellis's message is simple. If Tank decides to make a change, the decision belongs to him. Ellis has repeatedly expressed his support for Davis.
You can tell all that Rise podcast-ish, and even the way Kenny posts, they forgetting the reason to be in it, right? And Gervonta Davis' response was, the reason why I won't be around them anymore, right? So he's basically saying, they are trying to claim the limelight, things of that nature, and that's the reason why Gervonta Davis is saying that he's not going to be around them anymore.
There was one before. Want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so poster Calvin and Kenny are worse trainers than Bill Haney. Tank responded, no, they're not. They just in it for the wrong reason now. They want to be famous.
Yeah, and that's what it's all insinuating. Then Truck came behind that and said, I mean, he not lying today. I'm assuming he's talking about Tank. The response was, is that why you...
However, and has made it clear that there is no personal hatred or bitterness from his side. He has known Tank for many years, and regardless of who trains him in the future, that personal bond is not something that automatically disappears. This is an important point because social media often turns boxing stories into dramatic rivalries, making it appear as if every coaching change means friendships have ended forever. In reality, relationships in
What Coach Calvin said on the Rise podcast, shout out to Rise podcast, was that Gervonta was mad at him, got mad at them when they started training Krishan Rock. I don't even know how to describe what Krishan Rock is. Social media star, used to date Blueface, real pretty girl, got into boxing, and now, she's Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny are training her. So Coach Calvin said that Gervonta was thinking that they were caring more about their fame and getting their name out there and growing their brand than they were focused on Gervonta and training Gervonta.
Inside boxing can be complicated. A fighter can disagree with a coach, explore new ideas, and still maintain respect for that person. Another major argument surrounding Davis's former camp involves the issue of information leaking to the public. Some boxing commentators have suggested that the biggest problem was not necessarily Calvin Ford or Kenny Ellis individually, but the environment surrounding the entire team. According to this perspective,
I can't answer that. They saying why Benavidez. Tank and Calvin talk, man. Tank will come and Tank and Calvin got a relationship. He'll come to Calvin and say this is what it is. You know what I mean? So all that stuff on the internet, I don't pay no mind. I don't pay no mind. And somebody will see this and come back and say exactly what I said. But they talk. They got a relationship, man. They got a relationship. So I can't answer that. When Tank comes talk to Calvin, it is what it is, you know? If that's the case.
Too many private details were allegedly reaching the public before Davis wanted them revealed. In modern boxing, where social media has become one of the most powerful tools for promotion, information can spread within minutes. A private conversation inside a gym can suddenly become a headline, and a simple comment from someone close to a fighter can create weeks of speculation. For a fighter like Tank Davis, who has often preferred to control his own announcements and keep certain
José Benavidez Sr., that's an interesting pick. I wouldn't have thought that would have been the person he would be training with, honestly. A lot of people talking about Cunningham, going back with him. Because some people say that was the best version of Tank when he was with Cunningham. But Benavidez Sr., hey, he got his son, David, Mexican Monster, him and Tank were kind of cool. Tank, he's been on Tank undercard a couple times. Tank said he would actually be on David Benavidez undercard. He'll do that for David. He'll do a solid for David. So it's interesting to see any type of tweaks Senior might be able to put for Tank for his skill set, and see what David might be able to steal from Tank. Also, especially if they're working together, they train at the same time or not. But it's more to come on that. I don't know if he'll be a lead trainer for him, or if it's just, he might be just working on right now.
Aspects of his career private, that kind of situation can become extremely frustrating. The argument is that Davis may have become increasingly uncomfortable with people around him discussing his future, potential opponents, and career plans before he was ready to make those details public himself. There have been claims that Davis eventually became more selective about who had access to him and began distancing himself from certain individuals.
But getting coached by the Benavidezes, they definitely know how to punch you open, then counter. I think Gervonta Tank Davis made a very headsy choice to try José Benavidez Sr., and it looks like they're excited about welcoming Gervonta Tank Davis to the team.
To analysts, he wanted his inner circle to become more disciplined about what was said publicly. This may explain why both Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis appeared to become less active in media discussions about Davis. If the fighter wanted his future plans kept inside the camp, then those around him would naturally have to respect that request. From this perspective, the tension may not have been caused by one single incident. Instead, it could have been the result of several smaller disagreements building over time.
I feel like there's some comfort there.
Is that what it is?
I feel like that's what it is. I feel like there's some.
They both killers.
He's down in Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah, he's between
Seattle, Washington, Florida, Arizona, Vegas.
He be everywhere.
Yeah. Which might match the lifestyle of Gervonta Davis, you know.
Yeah, surprising to see it. I think, but I feel like he's comfortable with Jose, and just telling y'all what I know. Sometimes that's all it takes. Whatever's gonna get this light flip up, turned on, and keep it on. Sometimes it's comfort. I just need somebody I feel comfortable with, that I can be myself with, and that, when I'm ready to move, they move it. When they ready to move, I'm moving. I feel like he thinks he has that with Jose.
Time until the relationship became difficult to maintain in the same way. Another important part of the debate involves Davis's own comments about the people around him. Some analysts believe that Tank's frustration was connected to the perception that certain members of his team were becoming increasingly focused on their own public profiles and personal brands. The argument was not necessarily that the coaches had suddenly become incapable of training him. Instead,
and built you from scratch. He has always went to bat for you, even when you make it very hard for someone to go to bat for you, with all the you put you yourself and your fan base through and the boxing world through, and Calvin's always tried to say the right things to not offend you.
The concern was that priorities may have changed. Davis reportedly felt that some people around him were becoming more interested in gaining attention, appearing on podcasts, building social media popularity, or developing their own brands. Whether that perception was completely accurate or not, the feeling itself could have created tension. A fighter at the highest level wants to know that everyone inside his camp is completely
Calvin Ford is Tank's guy.
Built him from scratch.
I remember when Barry Hunter had Tank. He ain't look too good. Calvin, he kept Calvin in the corner, but he ain't look too good. I think Calvin is his guy. I don't think now, unless they had some weird maybe they split. Maybe Calvin didn't like what he was hearing, what was going on, and maybe personally he didn't want to be involved with it. I don't know. I'm speculating crazy, so let me just, I want to dead all that. I damn sure don't think Jose Benavidez is a good fit. If you're going to switch, man, you go to the Robert Garcias.
Focused on the same objective. If there is even a small belief that someone is more interested in fame than preparation, trust can begin to disappear. This discussion became even more complicated when Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis were reportedly involved in training other fighters and personalities. From an outside perspective, there is nothing unusual about a coach working with multiple athletes. However, from the fighter's perspective, the question becomes whether the coach...
With all due respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, John David Jackson had Kovalev in his prime, did right by, did whatever he did for Bernard, currently trains Clarissa. We're talking Gervonta Davis. We're talking...
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good personality.
We're talking big boy shit.
Yeah.
That's an elite level guy. And by the way, Benavidez Sr., listen, you see what he, David Benavidez is who he is. Highest of the high, elite of the elite.
Coach is giving the same level of attention and commitment to the most important upcoming challenge. Elite fighters often have extremely strong personalities, and they want their coaches to understand exactly what they need. For Tank Davis, who has spent years developing a unique style built around timing, explosive power, patience, and counterpunching, the relationship between fighter and trainer is especially important.
Say on Twitter that he will fight me, so it sounds like his tone is changing. I think he may not admit it, but I think he got a lot of respect for me as a fighter, which is why I think he's planning on leaving the game. He plans on fighting me as his last fight on his way out the door. That's why I don't think, even right now when you see him negotiate, he's trying to negotiate with Devin, but there has not been no real negotiation with me. So I think maybe his respect for me as a fighter, what I've been saying for years, he may not want to admit it. I'm the guy that's going to admit it. we are the two guys that's the best in the sport, and our destinies is calling each other to fight each other. So I think I will be his last fight for sure.
This discussion became even more complicated when Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis were reportedly involved in training other fighters and personalities. From an outside perspective, there is nothing unusual about a coach working with multiple athletes. However, from the fighter's perspective, the question becomes whether the coach is giving the same level of attention and commitment to the most important upcoming challenge. Elite fight.
Shakur and Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis. Who wins? Shakur versus Devin Haney?
I think Shakur.
And Shakur versus Gervonta.
Fighters often have extremely strong personalities, and they want their coaches to understand exactly what they need. For Tank Davis, who has spent years developing a unique style built around timing, explosive power, patience, and counterpunching, the relationship between fighter and trainer is especially important. A fighter like Davis does not simply need someone holding mitts. He needs someone who understands his mentality.
Tank is a good fighter, but I think he's more of a flat-footed fighter. He's flat-footed. He needs to plant to really get his punches off, stuff like that. Anyone that's going to box and have lateral movement, it's going to make it a little difficult for him to find.
Knows when to push him and knows when to allow him to work independently. Despite all the rumors, Kenny Ellis has emphasized that people outside the situation should be careful about believing everything they see online. According to Ellis, Davis and Calvin Ford still have a relationship, and communication between them has not necessarily disappeared completely. This is another reminder that the public often sees only a small portion of what happens behind closed doors.
Fox and even Tank fighting a Shakur, I still lean towards a Shakur. It'll be boring as hell. It'll be boring as fuck. Shakur will move. He's not going to take any risks, but he's going to put that stick on Tank ass. He's going to touch him whenever he wants, move, get out the way, and yeah, it wouldn't be too much going on. I think they'll both beat Tank in a very long, boring fight.
A fighter can stop working with a trainer on a daily basis and still maintain a personal relationship with that trainer. The boxing business can separate professional responsibilities from personal connections, even when fans assume the two are inseparable. At the same time, attention has increasingly shifted toward José Benavidez Sr. and what he could potentially bring to Davis's game. Benavidez Sr. is an intriguing name because he has been associated with a highly technical approach to boxing.
Concern is I think Tank has to give up a lot to beat Shakur because Shakur gonna keep your feet on him. And you gotta gamble against them feet. You can't just go down and box and think you're gonna beat him. As TFM will find out. You gotta gamble with them feet because you don't gamble with them feet, he's gonna beat you all night. He's comfortable being on that back leg and being smart about it. He's comfortable tattoo you all night long. He ain't gotta knock you out. He's comfortable just popping you all night long. And that's a good thing. So I think it's very difficult for anybody to beat him that don't know or is not willing to gamble and sacrifice to try to beat him.
Boxing, particularly when it comes to developing offensive combinations, creating openings, and teaching fighters how to capitalize on mistakes. The idea of Davis working with him has naturally generated curiosity because Tank is already considered one of the most dangerous punchers in boxing. The question is not whether Davis needs more power. He clearly does not. The question is whether a new trainer could help him become more unpredictable.
50-50 fight. I really still feel like that. When it comes to the boxing shit, I feel like Tank is super talented. 50-50 at that time. Now, I don't know. After all these drugs and shit the nigga been doing, I don't know how his body is. The nigga don't even throw no punches in fights. You feel me? Niggas sit around, he lay on his back feet and wait to land a left hand. That's all he's doing. Niggas is hip to that. You gotta get in a bag, get in a gym and diverse your bag. Nigga, you got dumb rich having a strong left hand. The nigga got the same left hand as Deontay Wilder have the right hand, but bro, niggas is on to that. The levels go up.
More versatile and more efficient. One possibility is that Benavidez Sr. could introduce small technical adjustments rather than completely rebuilding Davis's style. That may actually be the smartest approach. Tank is already developed into an elite fighter, and attempting to completely change his identity could be counterproductive. Instead, the goal could be to add new layers to what he already does exceptionally well. Davis is known for his ability to...
What you look for, does he have the best feet, Shakur?
To me, of the group, yes.
Yeah.
Of the group fight now, yes, without a question.
And that could be the difference.
Now he don't use them he don't maximize it. He use them good. But like I told him before, there's a couple other things he can do. And he is tightened up on some red see that too. So he's gotten a lot better than what he was with. So, and when he starts mastering what he's doing now, he's gonna be more problem.
Remain patient, read his opponents, and wait for the perfect opportunity to land a devastating counter. If a new coach could help him create those opportunities more frequently, improve his footwork, or develop additional combinations, Davis could become even more difficult to deal with. The connection also becomes interesting because of José Benavidez Jr., one of the most talented fighters associated with the Benavidez family. Davis and
I'll do the same thing. I'll say come back to 2028. Put everybody everybody get back on the couch, and then out of nowhere pop up, ready to go. Why do you think he's over there with the Benavidez? You think he's over there with them just the? Come on, bro. You know they don't do no bullshit. They gonna when they train. They training for something, you know. But it's very smart on his part to like, oh no, I'm not gonna fight this year. Everybody, oh, okay, take your hat off, relax, honey, get the ice cream out. You know what I'm saying? And then check the mail. Oh, it's a contract from Gervonta Davis. You have 30 days or 60 days to go. You're like, oh shit, I gotta take it. We need it. And then it's too late. You know, so.
Jay Prince.
Like I said, Gervonta is very smart. He's very smart. He has a lot of, you know what I'm saying, strategy. And it's part of the game, guys. It's been going on forever.
Benavidez Jr. have crossed paths through the boxing world, and there has been a level of mutual respect between them. That familiarity could potentially make the transition more comfortable. A fighter does not always need the most famous trainer available. Sometimes the best fit is simply the person who makes the fighter feel comfortable enough to work, communicate, and trust the process. That brings us to one of the most important arguments made by Sean Porter. Porter has suggested that comfort may...
And that would be the ultimate test at this point. I mean, there's nobody else punching like him around, really. I mean, it's some punchers, but I don't think anybody punching like him. And then it's nobody, you know, it's nobody with a... I don't know. I think that when you just mix them two, man, with all the shit they got going on in the media, if you say they fighting, man, they gonna take over for however long they can't last and promotion, all that. They gonna be holding it down. But I just don't see it happening.
Play a major role in Davis's decision-making. At the elite level, boxing is not only about technical knowledge. It is also about confidence, trust, and mental preparation. A fighter needs to feel that the people around him understand his personality and know how to communicate with him. If Davis believes he can be himself around Benavidez and that they can move forward together without unnecessary distractions, that alone could be a major factor.
That's the fight that's going to stop the world. So, if that fight happens, you know, then all is forgiven. You know, and hopefully they can do that. But, you know, like I say, he's taking a lot of backlash for not fighting Devin. He's taking a lot of backlash for that. You know, because that's the super fight. That's his super fight. If he can't get Tank, that's his super fight. And honestly, he deserves it more.
Tone could be a major factor. Sometimes, a fighter simply needs someone who understands when to push and when to step back. The ideal coach is not necessarily the person who talks the most or demands the most attention. The ideal coach is someone who can recognize the fighter's mindset and make the right adjustments at the right moment. If Tank believes he has found that type of relationship with José Benavidez Sr., then the move could make sense even if it surprises fans.